Hi everybody, it's November 30th, 2024, and this is my video journal of my recovery from the trauma of watching my little brother with Down syndrome, Paul Kierans, 64, be locked up by the BC New Democratic Party government for 588 days, and then I believe they killed him. They took away his ventilator and medical supports and administered a lethal dose of hydromorphone right in front of my eyes. So I watched the medical staff at Burnaby General kill my little brother right before my eyes as he struggled to recover from a seizure.
Next stop.
Or from a stroke. But this was quite an eventful week. Not only did I have to survive the trauma of watching my little brother be locked up and be killed in front of my eyes last week, I have a Catholic nun sister who's 82, lives 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario, and she was appointed or had herself appointed my brother's representative on February 1st of 2021 so that his group home could give him the COVID-19 shot. And I didn't find out, none of his other relatives or siblings found out about it for a year. And when I found out about it, I applied to have this document, this fraudulent and forged power of attorney over him, set aside. And when I wasn't successful doing that, I complained to the Burnaby RCMP on August 26th of 2022. The Burnaby RCMP constable that I spoke with said that she was going to get a search warrant for the original document and interview the witnesses. The group home, L'Arche, L''ARCHE, used their own. They never provided Paul with independent legal advice, and they used their own low-level workers as so-called witnesses to this fraudulent and forged document. And so I complained to the Burnaby RCMP, and the constable I spoke to said that she was going to get a search warrant for the original document. She didn't even bother looking at the copy that I had to show her. She just said, "Oh, no, I'll get the original." She said she would interview the witnesses. She didn't do either. What she did was, I now know or believe, is she went to the group home and tipped them off that I had complained. So 4 days after I complained to the Burnaby RCMP about this fraudulent document, the group home terminated permanently my visits with Paul. I had an agreement with them that I could visit him twice a week, once at the group home and once at my apartment. And I was his last surviving family member in Greater Vancouver. So for 588 days, the BC New Democratic Party government locked up my little brother. And 26 days after my application or my appeal of that decision was dismissed, Paul was dead. So that wasn't enough. That they locked up my little brother and then killed him was not enough. They found out, what I believe now is that the RCMP Oversight Agency in Ottawa ordered, I didn't even know this, but they ordered, this is quite interesting, so if you can follow it, it's worthwhile to listen because you might experience something similar. I had complained to the Civilian Review and Complaints Commission for the RCMP in Ottawa, and they interviewed me and they appointed an investigator. And I didn't realize it, but they had actually ordered the Burnaby RCMP to investigate how the Burnaby RCMP had dropped the ball. And so the Burnaby RCMP's officer in charge sent me a letter the day before, on March 27th of 2024 this year, saying that they were going to investigate their investigation into this fraudulent forged document, but they didn't send it to me. And what I believe they did, again, is the Burnaby RCMP tipped off my sister's lawyers that they were being investigated, or the forged document was being investigated. And so my sister's lawyers, who are being paid by the Catholic Church and also, I believe, by the federal government, or various government agencies, they've spent about $500,000 fighting me. So secretly, behind closed doors, I didn't know this. What the Burnaby RCMP did was they went to my sister's lawyers and tipped them off that there was an investigation into the fraudulent and forged power of attorney, rather than telling me. So they didn't send a letter to me. They tipped off my sister's lawyers. She's got 2 law firms working for her, a law firm in Ottawa that does nothing but represent pedophile priests across Canada, and a law firm in Vancouver. So all this was going on in the background without my knowledge. And on April 9th, the evil nun's lawyers filed an application to have me declared a vexatious litigant, which means if I'm declared a vexatious litigant, my freedom as a citizen, my constitutional rights, and my ability to defend myself will be prohibited or constrained, and I won't be able to represent myself or defend myself. And, as a lawyer who practiced for 23 years, there's lots of people out there who might want to sue me, or, I need to be in a position to defend myself. And what the evil nun's lawyers want to do is take that away, because they knew, although I didn't know, that the Burnaby RCMP had been ordered by their oversight agency to investigate the fraudulent and forged power of attorney. And I didn't find out about it until the day before my brother died, or was killed. I get a phone call from the Burnaby RCMP saying they'd been ordered by Ottawa to investigate their investigation into the fraudulent and forged power of attorney. And I went to the court the next morning, and I told the judge that they said, I thought, oh great, somebody's finally listening to me about my brother's, these injustices against my little brother. And within 24 hours of my sister finding out that the RCMP had been ordered to investigate the fraudulent and forged power of attorney, Paul was dead. His medical supports, his ventilator was removed. He was struggling to recover from this stroke. And Paul loves life. Life has dealt him such horrible blows, but he loves life. And he was so happy to see me. When I said, Paul, it's Kathleen, he grabbed my hand and he squeezed it so hard, he wouldn't let go. He grabbed a book from my hand and turned the pages perfectly and scanned the pictures perfectly. So he was struggling to recover, and the vast majority of people do recover from strokes. And, my brothers, we've got good genetics. My dad lived to be almost 101. My grandfather lived to be 100. Or my great-grandfather lived to be almost 100. So, we have good genetics. But within 24 hours of my evil nun sister finding out that the RCMP had been ordered to reopen their investigation, or to investigate their own investigation into the fraudulent and forged power of attorney, Paul was dead. So for 4 days, the week before last, there was a hearing. The judge was skeptical. I have a heart condition. I've got a certain medical certificate saying I can't appear in court for more than 2 hours a day. And the courts have always accommodated that without question. There's never been a problem with that. But this judge didn't want to accommodate that. And so the second day of hearing, she went past 12 o'clock, and I stood up and I said, I can't appear for longer than 2 hours. And she said, well, can't you sit in the gallery? I'm legally adjudicated to be disabled, and I had a medical certificate from 2 doctors. And she was going to go ahead. by golly, she's going to ram that vexatious litigant hearing through to accommodate, because the lawyer representing the Catholic Church was there and come all the way from Ottawa, and she was going to accommodate him over everything. So I spent 2 days this week, Thursday and Friday, preparing an application for leave to appeal and to stay her order. I knew that she was going to find me a vexatious litigant, and she's released a decision. I haven't even looked at it, but I know, it was written 2 weeks before the hearing. So I prepared. It took me about 10 hours one day and about 6 hours on Friday. So about 10 hours on Thursday and about 6 hours on Friday. But I prepared and filed online a really good application for leave to appeal her decision going ahead with the hearing. What I had said was I filed an application saying, you must stop. You can't proceed with this hearing until the RCMP have concluded their investigation. The RCMP and the College of Physicians and Surgeons have concluded their investigation. And she just blew that off like it was nothing, that the RCMP were investigating their own investigation into the fraudulent and forged power of attorney. So I filed it, and it was quite complicated filing my application for leave to appeal her decision, filing it online. And so there was a lot of phone calls back and forth with various government agencies to try and make sure that I had the funds in my account to file online. And but it's all been filed. So on December 16th, Monday, December 16th, I'm going back before the Court of Appeal for asking for permission to appeal her decision not to adjourn the hearing, and for a stay of her decision not to adjourn it. And there's also, I still have an application before the Supreme Court of Canada. I've asked them to review their decision dismissing my application for leave to appeal on the basis that my sister's lawyer said, oh, well, the case is moot because Paul died. But then they brought on a 5-day hearing to have me declared a vexatious litigant, so it's not moot. Anyways, so that's all very complicated, but the gist of it being is I spent 2 days this week fighting for my rights, to represent myself and fighting for your rights. And the next hearing date at the Court of Appeal will be on December 16th, and I've got a really good feeling. Hi, Craig Brockwell. So that's it for now. Tomorrow is the first day of December, and my birthday's in a week, so lots of exciting things coming up. So pray for us. You can still contribute to our GoFundMe account. It cost me $280 to fight this vexatious litigant nonsense at the Court of Appeal, which I paid out of my old age security. Thank God I had the money to do it. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend.